Hi, welcome to Not a Chef with Mike Jones. That's N-A-D-A chef, as in in Spanish, nada or whatever. This is my first attempt at something like a cooking show, and what I'm really here to do is show people that diet food, low carb food, doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be the same old stuff. It can be elegant. It can be, it can be exciting food. It can be tasty food. And one of the biggest things, the biggest problem is that a lot of people, you're pulling off. I'm on the keto diet, so this is what I'm striving towards is an almost no carb diet. And the thing is that that tends to cut a lot of stuff. Your breads, starches, potatoes, even carrots to a certain extent. But one thing is that you can't be, what I would say, afraid of carbs, because you're going to have a little bit in there, because there's good carbs and bad carbs. You can have carbs from dietary fiber, which are good carbs for the diet. And then you have your sugar carbs, which are bad carbs. You want to avoid those. The biggest thing that we're doing here is I really just want to show how simple and how quickly you can cook elegant food that tastes good and is healthy, and is in the low carb realm. So with that today, this is the pilot of the show. So what I'm doing here is doing a test run. I'm gonna run it around the net and see what everybody thinks of it. And if it gets a decent response, hey, maybe I'll do some more. If it gets really good response, then hell, I'll do a whole series of them. We'll see what happens. The big thing is what I want to do today is I'm going to do we're going to do fish tacos. And what I'm going to do is actually, use some good ingredients, and we're going to take instead of your standard fish tacos, we're going to do low carb fish tacos, and we're going to do them with swordfish. Now, swordfish is a great fish because it's high in protein and very high in the omega-3 fatty acids. I'm having a brain fart, whatever. The omega-3 fatty acids, which are good for you. It's also a good amount of got a good amount of omega-6s as well. And we're as part of that is we're going to be using green salad, mixed green salad as part of it, and homemade guacamole, which avocados are high in fat and also really good for the keto diet. So what we're going to do first is we've got got a little pan here. Swordfish is already set over here, and it has been sitting out and is at room temperature. I'm going to turn the stove on. Most of you out there are going to have electric stoves, so turn it on to 7, which is medium high. Now what we want to do there is start letting it get set up a little bit. With the fish here, this is too much to use in a small pan like this. I've got a much larger pan, but I don't feel like using it at the moment because I don't want to use all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to where it's decently sized for the pan. So we've got, and it will be decently sized for whenever we do the things. I'll cook this up after we're done here. So I'm going to set this out, and while this is heating up, I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil. I've got California Olive Ranch. It's a little more expensive oil. It's a decent oil. There's one from Italy that I'm going to buy a little later. It's much more expensive, but it's a much better oil. But for right now, we've got this. It's great. Works just fine. You want to put about a tablespoon and a half or so in there. And let that heat up. And while that's heating up, what we're going to do with this is on one side of the fish, we're going to take this is coarse kosher salt. I tend to, well, that's pretty much all I use now, and sprinkle it liberally on one side of it, and then I use pepper. It's basically all we're doing is salt and pepper on this. And on something like this where you want to get a little bit of different flavor, not just standard black pepper, I buy these, the McCormick's peppercorn medley grinders, which is like 6 different kinds of freaking peppercorns in here, and set it to medium coarse, and then just do a nice run of it on one side of this. All right, pat that. And before I let this set out and everything, the fish itself, I actually Just did a quick rinse off of it, patted it dry with paper towels, and then let it set and get to room temperature. So it's really ready to go right here. So while this is heating up, see the oil will slightly start to smoke whenever you can tell it's getting right up on its level. So what we're going to do while that's going on is we're going to go over here, and while the thing is starting up, we're going to start our guacamole. Actually, before we do the guacamole, I'm going to talk about the tortillas that we're going to use. And if you can find them, I don't know how far Mission's reach lasts. We've got Mission Carb Balance soft flour tortillas, the bigger ones. These things have 6 grams of net carbs per one, which if you look on the back, you'll freak out. It says total carbohydrates is 19 grams. You're like, oh my God, I can't eat this, because on a keto diet, you're supposed to stay under 20 grams of carbs per day. 40 grams for an Atkins diet. So you can kind of hover below 40 without like really throwing yourself out. But it has 13 grams of dietary fiber, which basically you can subtract that from your total carbohydrates, and that brings you down to 6 grams, which is an acceptable number, because we're going to be using 2 of these. That's a total of 12 grams. If you wanted to go with something smaller, they actually have the Carb Balance, the whole wheat. They have the regular flour tortillas, which are, you know, the white flour like this, which the ones that they have are 4 grams per. But if you get the whole wheat, which actually have a slightly better flavor in my opinion, they're 3 grams per. So that's 6 grams for 2 of them. So you're totally within your realm of staying within your carb count. Okay, this has started to smoke a little bit. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put this seasoned side down, and it's going to make some noise. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sear this thing on both sides and get a nice little decent sear on it. There we go. Get your tongs out for this because you'll need them. While this is cooking on this side, what you can do is season the other side of it in pretty much the same way. Put there. And we're going to let that sit and cook for a couple of minutes. While that's going on, we're going to start our guacamole, which is actually ridiculously easy to do. Got my little santuku here, and what I'm going to do is you slice right into it, and then you just run right around the outside. There you go. Set those off right here. May not have been quite 100% perfect, but all right. And you take 2 of them, get those popped open, and then get the seeds out of them. And I'll just dump those. You don't want to get them down the drain, so watch out for that. But you at least get them out of the middle there and let them sit for a minute. So there's your avocados. All right. While that's doing it, you can take 1 lime, kind of roll it out. You get your, break down the berries inside so it makes it easier to squeeze. You're going to use the juice from half of one of these. So we'll set those out. Those will wait. We're also going to use some cayenne pepper and garlic powder, and then salt and pepper from the other side as well. So you see, we want to get this to where it has a nice even brown on it. See, that's getting started. That's almost there. So what we'll do is get the other side up and going, and then whenever the other side is ready, we'll flip it and keep going until it's done. You're going to deal, it's going to be a couple of minutes on each side. It's really simple, really fast. While that's going, take just a large spoon from your normal stuff and get the guacamole, the avocados out here. There we go. So I'm using 2 avocados for this. This actually gives you leftover guacamole that you can use. What I tend to do is for a nice little snack, so a really good low carb snack is to get pork rinds, or Mexican chicharrones. The same thing, exact same. So, and you use this as a dip. I get the picante one, so you get the spice, which there's already a good amount of spice in here that I will be using with the cayenne pepper, but not as much as on the picante. So you take these and get a nice little chop on them. Make a shitload of noise. Cooking is not quiet. Good cooking is definitely not quiet. So you get this up here. So that is just about ready. That'll go away for the moment. Let's check back on this. Now that is definitely not ready yet. So it's because we wanted a nice golden brown on both sides. And it will sear the edges just a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to make sure this is a nice golden brown on both sides. So like I said, it's going to take a couple of minutes for each side. While that other side is going, we get back over here and actually grab the salt and pepper. Say, just give a good amount of pepper in here. I would say probably about, for 2 avocados, maybe about a teaspoon, maybe less, half a teaspoon. And then the salt. Here, want to get, that's going to be about a teaspoon there. Turn that puppy off. All right, those two are going that way. Take garlic powder. I like to give a good amount of garlic powder in here because it gives it a much extra taste to it. You see that? And then a little layer of cayenne, which comes out probably about a 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. Thing doesn't want to come out. So while that's doing that, we'll come back here and check on this. There we go. That's that nice golden brown I was looking for. So you can see it right there. That is the golden brown I was looking for. Now we want to get that. That'll go for maybe about 30 seconds. You're going to take the bigger half of this and squeeze it out into here. And I mean squeeze the hell out of it. You want all of it out of there. If you just want to do a half squeeze on it, you use both sides, both halves of the lime. This gives it a little bit of acid in here to help bring out the flavor, and also it does help with the storage as well. So if you make this, have the leftover, you can store it in the fridge for a couple of days and it's not going to go bad. Let's see. This should be ready on the other side. Close enough. Yeah. What we're going to do is sear the edges just a little bit. So you want to sear the edges, get it all the way around. I mean, you don't have to because it's pretty much cooked. I just, I just like to do it just to make sure. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So, and then we're talking, this is maybe 10, 15 seconds on each, or wherever you're searing it at. Alright, after that sear's done, you can go ahead and turn this off because you will not need this anymore. You are done with that. We'll take this, let it drip off a little bit, and set it over here and let it rest. And we're going to let it rest because just like, steak, it will finish cooking on its own. So you can see that that's there. Nice brown coating, nice little crispiness on the edges. Beautiful. Now, we've got this set. You just take a basic fork and you mash it all up together. So this will give an extra bit of creaminess and, fat enhancing, so that it makes you feel full longer, which is another part of the keto diet. You're actually eating more, you're eating lots of fats, but it's slow burn fat, so that your body's not sitting there storing it. I'm probably phrasing that wrong, but generally what you're doing is making yourself feel fuller, and of course, making a thing tastier. So, good. And if you have some chunks in there, that's fine, because that's how you can tell you get some nice homemade guacamole. It's kind of like, homemaking, potatoes. Of course, we're not going to be eating potatoes. We're definitely not going to be eating potatoes because that is totally not good for your diet. So we'll put that over there, set it out, and then what we're going to do is we make a little sauce to go with the tacos. It's just a little drizzle on sauce, and it's ridiculously simple. Just take Hellmann's real mayonnaise, no margarine. I mean, not margarine, because margarine sucks too. But you know, Hellmann's real mayonnaise. It's the only one I use, unless you're making your own homemade mayonnaise, which is totally viable. It will work as well. In fact, we'll go over that because it's basically just oil and eggs. Ridiculously easy to do. You want to take a couple of tablespoons of the stuff. A little dish there. Make that. Set it off the side. And then we're going to use Cholula Original Hot Sauce. If you've ever been to a Mexican food restaurant and you see the ones with the little wooden ball top on them, this is Cholula. This stuff is fantastic. It's made from chili piquins and what else? Chili piquins and arboles. So what you want to do is take about, you're going to put about, this is about a 3-to-1 ratio. So you're going to come out with what, 3/4 of a tablespoon of this stuff? Roughly. You can eyeball it. That's about it. So what we're going to do here is just mix this together, and it makes a really nice, smooth, silky, but spicy sauce that goes absolutely fantastically with the fish and everything else that you're putting on there. So just take that, mix that up there. You know, and if you need to, or if you want to, you'll definitely want to put some more in here. So, what? Take a taste of this. Yeah, need just a little bit more. So I want a little more spice. Okay. Perfect. And take get a small spoon for that to do the drizzle later on. So take this, put that over there. Now, while that should be just about ready, what we're going to do here is get out a couple of our tortillas. Like that. These are brand new, fresh. Just bought these yesterday. They've been sitting out on the counter. They're ready to go. You do not have to put tortilla unless you plan on not eating them for a long time. You do not have to put tortillas in the fridge. I do if I'm on the road, which I tend to travel a lot for work. But I am off for the time being. Well, I say off. I'm not off work. I'm just off doing the travel stuff. Take these, separate them out. So, usually put the grill side up. Actually, put the other side up. Grill marks make for pretty cool tacos. At that, whoops. Almost dumped the whole thing on the floor. Get that here. Close that up, put it out of the way. Okay, you've got those two there. Now, all this stuff stays out of the way. Now, what we want to do is, I have some mixed green salad, field greens. And these I picked up, well, I picked these up at the same time when I got the Swordfish, which I got at Central Market, which is essentially HEB's version of Whole Foods, but without all the pretentiousness. So this is Dole field greens, and they've got, this is actually has romaine, endives, carrots, and radicchio in here, which is partially I picked this because it's a good mix of flavorful stuff, but also it's in a lot of good colors too, which makes your stuff look pretty. And people, and it's true what they say is you eat with your eyes first. So the prettier your food is, the more apt you are going to be want to eat it. You know, that's the reason nobody wanted to eat gruel. All right, so we're going to open this up. There's another kind, and I forget the brand off the top of my head, but that I get from Tom Thumb, which I actually like better because it's got baby spinach in it as well, which is great. Very healthy. It's got great iron content, and the dietary fiber amount is just great on it. So it's really good for your keto diet. All right, I want to grab one of these to use to spread the stuff. All right, here. Alright, so what we're going to want to do here is you're going to take, again, a couple of tablespoons here, dump it out, and just nice and spread it out. Now, you don't want a huge amount because then when you're eating it, it ends up squirting out the ends, and it just kind of makes a mess. You want enough where you can get a really nice taste of it and decent coverage. So a couple of tablespoons will work just fine. Both of these. There we go. Alright, got that there. Next up, what we put on is we're going to take some of the field greens and just put them right up on here. And the carrots are all at the bottom, which is just fine because you don't really, carrots are actually high in carbs, but you can eat a few of them without, without breaking anything. So don't feel the need to avoid them entirely. Just you want to make sure that you're not eating very much of them. You can get, I think they're good with a lot of vitamin C, but you can get that vitamin C from other sources. So, ooh, that's a beautiful piece of radicchio there. Beautiful piece of radicchio. So we're gonna spread that out to the ends, so you get that green and the white and the purple. Really, really, really beautiful and tasty as well. So, you don't want to overload because then it makes it hard to close the taco, but get a decent amount on here. It's like that. Perfect. Take that. Put this back in the fridge. Crisper drawer. Now, we are almost done. This is definitely done cooking. So what we're going to take here is like this. Cut this one section right here. You can see how beautiful and flaky that comes off right there. That's how you can tell that it's nice and cooked very well. So, and then we'll slice this here. This is actually going to be two worth because we're splitting them up. Yeah. Take this. Ta-da! Put this over here on one of them. Take this. Put it over on the other with this little extra piece, which is actually a freaking huge one. I'm actually going to split that in two. Put this here on the end with the rest of it, and then this goes over with this. Actually, we'll split these out here. So, and on something like this, basically how we put this together, you're getting basically zero carbs except for what is in the tortillas. Or most of that is dietary fiber. You can see that my main the battery ran out on my main camera. I don't know how the hell that happened. Put good batteries in it. So we're going to take a little bit of our sauce here and just drizzle a little bit on the top. That's it, right there. Just enough to give it a little bit of extra flavor. So, like so. Take that a little bit more. A little bit more won't hurt you. Alright, and there we go. You take a plate. Actually, I didn't get my plates out. Watch this. That moves there. Take this. Take this, plate these up. Take one, put it here. Ta-da. And there we go. There are your tacos. And you can't tell me that you wouldn't eat the hell out of that if that came out to you at a restaurant. This is actually across the edge there, so I'm going to do that in a while so it will close up nicely. And what I'm going to do here actually is, another thing about this is that, alright, yeah, okay. Yeah, another thing about this is that when I do my food photography, you'll notice that I take a lot of close-ups. Well, the close-ups are, generally the way to go. So what we do here, I've already got my settings and everything. I'll take this picture and post it online here in a minute so you can see exactly what we're getting at. So, alright. It's not making any sound because I have it on mute. So, but anyway, that is it. You can see. Fish tacos, swordfish tacos. Simple, easy, and extremely tasty. So, that's it. This is my pilot for Not a Chef. And when you're cooking with carbs, say hasta la pasta. We'll talk to you later.